The morning sunlight barely touched the gleaming marble floors of Hale Dynamics' lobby before the silence was shattered by the pounding footsteps of Richard Hale, the Billionaire CEO, striding through the glass doors like a storm incarnate. His gaze swept across the room and immediately landed on Elijah Carter, the black janitor quietly pushing his mop bucket toward the west wing. "Stop right there," Richard bellowed, voice echoing across the lobby, causing nearby employees to freeze mid-step, some startled, others pretending not to notice. Elijah halted instantly, gripping the handle of his mop, aware that the moment had shifted from ordinary cleaning to personal scrutiny. Richard's lips twisted into a smirk as he leaned down, eyes narrowing. "Do you even understand the word standards? Or is it too much for someone like you to comprehend?" His voice dripped contempt, each syllable sharpened with authority. He kicked the corner of Elijah's bucket lightly, splashing water across the scuffed shoes, leaving a cold shock of humiliation against the warmth of the morning sunlight. Laughter bubbled from nearby employees, nervous, artificial, eager to align with the CEO's dominance. Richard continued, circling Elijah like a predator sizing up prey. "Look at you, pretending you belong here. Pretending this is your world. This is a business, not a charity for people like you. Try not to ruin the floor, and your dignity, while you're at it." His finger jabbed toward the marble, emphasizing every insult with brutal precision. "You exist here only because someone allows it. Never forget your place. You're nothing more than a cleaner in this building. Do you understand?" Elijah's jaw clenched, knuckles white around the mop handle, but he said nothing. He had learned long ago that reacting would only intensify the cruelty. The words hung in the air like a thick fog of shame, forcing him to swallow his pride, yet sharpening the resolve that no insult, no kick of a mop bucket, could ever erase. Once Richard Hale strode away, leaving a trail of whispered laughter and uneasy glances, Elijah exhaled slowly, regaining control of his body and mind. Each movement of the mop was deliberate, precise, not merely to clean, but as a ritual of order, a silent assertion of control over the chaos around him. Years of enduring the world's underestimation had forged a patience that was more lethal than aggression, a quiet force that didn't need recognition to exist. Beneath the faded uniform, hidden under his long sleeves, a tattoo stretched across his forearm. An insignia that spoke of leadership earned in life-or-death situations, a symbol of battles fought far beyond the corridors of corporate offices. Most would never notice it. Fewer still would know its significance. The mark carried memories of nights under hostile skies, missions executed with precision where a single mistake meant disaster, and commands delivered that held the lives of men and women in balance. Each mop stroke now was a meditation, a reaffirmation of a discipline that no ridicule could touch. In this lobby, he was reduced to a stereotype, the color of his skin and the uniform defining him to others as insignificant. Yet the reality of who he was, the man who had led, survived, and commanded respect in worlds far removed from wealth and privilege, remained untouched. When alarms suddenly shrieked through the building, red lights flashing in chaotic urgency, Elijah's mind switched from enduring insult to commanding order. The panic of the employees, the hurried shuffling of polished shoes, the screams of startled assistants, it all became a canvas for his innate authority. He didn't think of himself as a janitor in that moment. He thought like a leader, a protector, a force that could manage chaos with calm precision. The CEO's earlier humiliation faded against the sheer clarity of purpose that now guided every movement of his body, every word he spoke, and every decision he made in the midst of mounting crisis. The stairwell became a controlled hurricane of human bodies, panic gnawing at the edges of fear as employees scrambled to escape, jostling one another, shouting, tripping over their own haste. Elijah moved through it like a conductor of a symphony, issuing commands that carried authority not born of wealth but of experience. One side. Step carefully. Keep moving. His voice was calm, commanding, and obeyed instantly. At the top of the stairs, Richard Hale appeared, panic etched across his face, attempting to regain control in a situation he had no true mastery over. Elijah knelt to help an assistant who had twisted her ankle, rolling up his sleeve, and in that split second, the tattoo was revealed. Richard froze. Recognition hit him like a physical blow. That mark, the intricate symbol of elite leadership and covert operations, was unmistakable. The janitor he had demeaned, mocked, and humiliated hours earlier was not just competent. He was extraordinary, a man whose past bore the weight of missions that demanded courage, intelligence, and command beyond any corporate training. Elijah's eyes met Richard's, steady, calm, unflinching. "Yes," he said softly. The word echoed with authority, each letter heavier than the marble underfoot. Richard's assumptions, his arrogance, his sense of superiority, all collapsed instantly. The hierarchy he relied upon, built over years of wealth, intimidation, and polished self-importance, dissolved in the presence of true capability. Every insult, every dismissive comment hurled earlier now felt insignificant, impotent in the shadow of a reality Richard had never imagined. The building itself seemed to shift around them, the power dynamic inverted in an instant, leaving Richard staring, frozen, forced to confront the truth of who had truly commanded respect all along. When the fire drill ended and employees returned to their desks, the office felt subtly transformed. The usual hum of computers and shuffle of papers carried a new tension, a quiet awareness that Elijah Carter was not the man anyone had assumed him to be. Whispers floated across the polished floors, and cautious glances were exchanged. The scene from earlier, the mocking laughter, the humiliating insults, now seemed almost surreal in light of what had just occurred. Richard Hale remained behind his massive mahogany desk, hands gripping the edges, chest tight, mind racing with disbelief. The towering presence of the man he had belittled hours ago now loomed over him in memory, commanding authority without a uniform, without a mop, without a single raised voice. Finally, Richard spoke, voice low, almost fragile. I didn't know," he admitted, the words heavy with shame. Elijah's eyes, steady and measured, met his without a trace of anger. "No, you didn't," he said softly. "And that's the point." There was no need to recount achievements, no demand for acknowledgement, no gloating. His dignity remained intact, unshaken by Richard's earlier cruelty. The calm authority he exuded was a silent testament to the difference between true power and superficial hierarchy. Employees watched with quiet awe, remembering the morning's humiliation and now witnessing the aftermath. Elijah had acted with composed efficiency during the fire drill, guiding panicked coworkers, helping the injured, and subtly asserting command over the chaotic stairwell. Every gesture had rewritten the unspoken hierarchy of the office. His briefly revealed tattoo, a symbol of elite skill, discipline, and leadership, hinted at a life far beyond what anyone in this building could imagine. It was enough to make the CEO's arrogance falter, to make the assumptions about appearances, uniforms, and status crumble in an instant. Elijah turned toward the exit, walking with deliberate precision, each step radiating quiet confidence. Returning to his duties, he moved with purpose, not invisibility. The office seemed to breathe differently. Even the employees who had once laughed now carried subtle respect, a newfound awareness of what real authority looks like. Richard remained frozen, staring after him, finally grasping the truth. Wealth, status, and titles cannot create respect, and arrogance can collapse instantly when confronted with genuine competence. Elijah's presence, calm and composed, had rewritten the rules of power, showing that dignity, skill, and earned authority surpass appearances or intimidation. And as he disappeared down the corridor, his tattoo once again hidden beneath his sleeve, the lesson lingered in the room. True strength is silent, respect must be earned, and a single revelation can reshape every assumption about power, identity, and status.